Hello and welcome back to Currency Revalue, your #1 source for breaking news and in-depth analysis on global currency moves. If you've been following this channel, we track every signal, every shift, and every whisper when it comes to the Iraqi Dinar, the Vietnamese Dong, and other key currencies that could change the global financial map. And today, we're not just talking rumors. We're talking hard facts, published reports, and a signal so strong that the entire revaluation community is on edge. The headline couldn't be clearer. Vietnam given the green light to RV the Vietnamese Dong by the IMF. That's right. The International Monetary Fund, the referee of the global financial system, has weighed in directly. They've looked at Vietnam's books, its reforms, its reserves, its growth. And they've said, in no uncertain terms, it's time. For years, this community has been flooded with speculation, blog posts, forum chatter, and intel calls. Some of it hopeful, some of it hype. But this time, we're not dealing with backchannel chatter. We're dealing with the IMF itself, the most powerful voice in the world when it comes to currency policy. And when they speak, governments move. So let's break it down. What exactly did the IMF say? They officially recommended that Vietnam increase its exchange rate flexibility. That might sound like dry policy language, but in the world of currency reform, that phrase is everything. It means stop holding the dong down. Stop artificially pegging it low. Stop manipulating it just for exports. Let it breathe. Let it rise. Think about that. For over half a century, Vietnam has kept the dong undervalued, chained to the floor in order to pump up exports. Their strategy worked. They became a manufacturing hub, a global supplier of textiles, electronics, and more, but at a cost. Their currency never reflected their true strength. Now, the IMF is saying, it's time to change the game. And here's why. Vietnam has quietly, steadily built the fundamentals they need to handle a stronger currency. Their banking system is more stable. Inflation is under control. They've stacked foreign exchange reserves. And they've proven they can absorb external shocks, trade wars, tariffs, even global slowdowns. That's critical. Because one of the biggest risks of raising a currency's value is losing your export edge. But Vietnam has prepared for this. They've built a cushion. They've done the homework. So when the IMF says increase flexibility, what they're really saying is you're ready. Let's talk about what this looks like in practice. The IMF isn't calling for chaos. They're not telling Vietnam to flip a switch and double overnight. That would wreck their economy. Instead, they're calling for a managed float. That's finance speak for letting the market guide the dong upward, gradually, carefully, step by step, under the government's watchful eye. And make no mistake, that is the first step toward revaluation. A float lets the currency rise. A managed float prevents it from crashing. Together, they build credibility. And credibility is what Vietnam needs if it wants to graduate from being treated as a frontier market to being recognized as a serious emerging economy. Let's put this in context. Imagine you're a factory owner in Hanoi. For decades, your competitive edge was cheap exports. But now, as wages rise, infrastructure improves, and Vietnam's middle class grows, you don't need rock-bottom currency levels to survive. You need purchasing power. You need stability. You need the world to respect your currency. That's exactly what this move signals. The IMF's report also highlights Vietnam's trade surpluses, strong growth rates, and disciplined inflation management. These aren't abstract numbers. They're proof that Vietnam can support a higher dong. Remember, currencies can't just declare themselves stronger. They need muscle to back it up. Vietnam has built that muscle. And now the IMF has stamped its approval. So the big question, could this mean an imminent revaluation? The short answer, yes, but with nuance. No one should expect Vietnam to suddenly jump to $2 or $3 overnight. That's not how responsible policy works. But what we can expect, based on this consultation, is a steady upward shift. A dong that gains value, month after month, year after year, until it reflects Vietnam's true place in the global economy. This is where strategy comes in for investors. A gradual climb may not sound as exciting as a moonshot, but it's sustainable. It builds trust. And it means those holding dong today could see real, lasting gains instead of a spike followed by a crash. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. The timing. Vietnam is on the cusp of being upgraded to emerging market status by FTSE Russell, potentially as soon as next month. That's not just a coincidence. These developments are connected. You don't get promoted on the global financial stage unless your fundamentals are solid. And once Vietnam makes that jump, the floodgates open to institutional investors, hedge funds, pension funds, the big money that was barred from buying Dong before. So think about the sequence. IMF says Vietnam is ready. FTSE Russell upgrade looms. Market access widens. Demand rises. And when demand rises, so does the price. This is why we keep hammering home the importance of fundamentals on this channel. Forget the hype. Forget the forum chatter. Follow the hard data. And right now, the hard data says the Vietnamese Dong has been given the green light by the world's most trusted financial authority. But let's not sugarcoat this. There are still risks. Vietnam has to walk a fine line. Move too fast and they risk losing their export edge. Move too slow and they risk missing the moment. But with IMF guidance, they've got a playbook. And if they execute it right, this could be one of the most significant currency shifts of the decade. So what does this mean for you, sitting at home with stacks of Dong? It means the wait might finally be paying off. It means this isn't just rumor, it's policy, it's recommendation, it's direction, and it's backed by the IMF. The revaluation process is no longer a fantasy. It's officially been recommended. The ball is in Vietnam's court. The world is watching. And you can bet this channel will be covering every development as it unfolds. So make sure you're subscribed to Currency Revalue. Hit that like button, share this with fellow investors, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss the next critical update. Because history could be in the making right now. The IMF has spoken. Vietnam has the green light. And the long-awaited rise of the Dong may have just begun. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and as always, stay prepared. This is Currency Revalue, and this is just the beginning.